That dude is probably gonna think about that moment for the rest of his life. r/traumatizethemback, a subreddit we haven't really got into before and I'm excited to get into because it's a lot like nuclearrevenge, where users traumatize the people that have traumatized them. Oh no, my actions have consequences. This post is by Adventurous Plate. I stalked my stalker and he did not like it. Let's get into it. By the way, don't worry, I just got up, so my hair and my voice might sound a little different than usual, but I'm still gonna try and make it the best I can for you guys. Almost 6 years ago, I made one of my obscure art projects temporarily available online. In it, I'm naked for a few minutes. Oh no. Those few minutes sparked a wave of obsession from random dudes online that is still going on to this day. Welcome to the internet as a woman. And the video has been shared on many websites, forums, and subreddits without my consent. I've been able to handle most of it and have the video deleted from most of the places it's been posted on. But there is this one guy who's really obsessed. Not only does he follow my socials, but he also sent me screenshots of me naked in DM with a creepy message. I have your video and there's nothing you can do about it. Went to great length to download the video from the paid DRM protected website I posted it on, shared it and bragged about it on sketchy forums. Recently, he also started making various montages with my video, what a creative young man, and posting them on random subreddits as well as his YouTube channel. He even paid an adult content creator to make a custom video in which she reenacts my nude art scene. WTF? He also makes memes with my face, and posts them around. Overall, not only is he creepy, but he's also just really weird. I messaged him warning him I pressed charges against him, which is true, but you know how slow the justice system is, but it didn't stop him and he went on making and posting weird content with me in it. He obviously thought I would never find him, which is vastly underestimating me. Turns out I'm much more of a nerd than he seems to think I am, and I have ADHD, so I really don't mind hyper-focusing on really specific things, in this case, finding him. It also turns out he made quite a few mistakes and is in fact much more traceable than he thinks he is, especially to someone like me who knows how and where to search and who doesn't mind searching for just as long as I need to. I managed to trace him back to pretty much all the usernames he has online, and finally to his actual name and his face. I now know who he is, which neighborhood he lives in, approximately how old he is, what he looks like, his IP address, what kind of device he uses, what video games he plays, but also what his fetishes are and what kind of adult content he watches. Spoiler alert, not kink shaming, but weird ass stuff. Turns out this idiot had sent an email to my art business inbox 4 years ago with his full name. I assume he didn't think I would ever connect the dots. He's a rather young dude with a baby face, probably the least menacing face you've ever seen. So it's really funny to look at this guy wanting to act like an internet thug. Honestly, when I saw what he looked like, my first thought was that he needs a good old spanking from his mum to get him back on track. So I gave him a taste of his own medicine. Oh no, this could take a very dark turn. I made a funny meme using his face and sent it to him. Oh, thank God. He deleted his account immediately, a 3-year-old Reddit account he used rather regularly. That was yesterday, and I assume he's still busy himself in fetal position. Needless to say, it was extremely satisfying. Dude, that guy, OP, I can't believe you got his full name and face. That must have been really satisfying. And he was bragging about it on forums? That's so weird. Even ignoring the main thing he was doing, why did he brag about it? What is wrong with him? Let's see what the comments have to say. Does he still live with his mom? Tell her what he has been doing. Send the receipts and the police report. Let her deal with him. Actually, do that whether he lives with her or not. Also maybe to his employer and his neighbors. Too bad this loser doesn't have an actual human girlfriend you could inform. Yeah, that's true. He sounds very young by the sounds of it, so who knows? Who knows? Very weird story overall and a great one to start it off with. And this next post is by Tay Lou. For some context, I had my right leg amputated below the knee 5 years ago after suffering my whole life with a congenital bone defect in my right leg. I use a prosthetic and get on well with it most of the time. time, I use a pin lock prosthetic and have to use prosthetic socks to bulk my stump out because the silicone liner makes my stump hot and makes it shrink. Anyway, wow, what a way to start a post. Okay, on Saturday, I was at my local pub and getting into the Christmas spirit. My partner and I are friends with the landlord, so we sat with them and some other friends happily getting drunk and singing karaoke. I was looking great in a pinstripe jumpsuit and chunky heeled boots. I have a specific leg for heels. Every time I go to get a drink, these two guys would try engaging me in conversation. Now, you know how you can just tell that someone is a complete asshat? These guys gave off that vibe before they even tried speaking to me. After that, every time they opened their mouths, something douchey came out. I don't remember what, but it was enough for me to just ignore their presence. At about midnight, I was coming in from a smoke and unfortunately had to pass them to get back to my table. I was limping because I needed to add an extra sock to my stump. As I passed them, one of the guys says very condescending to me, "Aw, what's the matter? Do your ankles hurt?" With this smug, eating grin on his face. Without missing a beat, I turn slightly towards them and lift up my right trouser leg without saying a word and show him my prosthetic, and drop my trouser leg back down. I heard him say, "Oh, I'm so sorry," as he turns towards the bar and tries to melt into it. His friend went white as a ghost too. I just walked off, still not having said a word to them. I've been dying for something like this to happen ever since I got my first prosthetic, and daydreaming about what I would do if it ever happened. I unfortunately didn't come up with this idea on my own, but got the idea from an entitled parents video one of my favorite YouTubers did a while ago. It took 5 years, but it finally happened and it was amazing. Well played, OP. It's crazy that there was 5 years of thought into that, even if you couldn't exactly set this up, but yeah. It was also quite classy. That dude is probably gonna think about that moment for the rest of his life. Same to the person that went white next to him. Hopefully it actually makes him change his actions. But I think we both know it's not always that easy. Oh well, that was still a fun story. Next post, stopped a friend from becoming my stepmom. Oh boy, what a title. I found out this sub exists and now I need to share. My mum died from cancer before she was 30 and it was me and my dad. He was normal, not the most reliable, but I love him. He dated but never remarried. Fair enough. When I was in college, I still lived at home, so my friends came over often. As you can tell, one of them and my dad started hooking up. I found out, which they took as the green light, to just start dating openly, and my view of my dad just shattered. I felt betrayed by both of them and stopped having friends over and just stayed out. But then another friend gave me an idea to get in the way of their star-crossed lovers story, so I started being creepy to her. Said things about how lucky I would be to have such a gorgeous stepmom, how my dad must be treating her right, how I could learn from him, really leaning into some adult brain rot fantasy. They lasted less than a year. My dad tried to talk to me about it, but I said we just have the same taste and how I want to have her around more. I'm distant from my dad to this day, since I'd rather not risk him using me to find a lady again. Oh my god, that's so cringe. What is wrong with him, man? There's 8 billion people in this world. Divide that by 2 and you have the amount of range that he could reach, and he picks your friends? Dude, he needs to look a bit harder than that. There's something wrong with him. Don't worry though, guys, we have an update post. It's been a few months since that post, and the short and skinny is that I have cut my dad out of our lives now. Being distance or low contact, as it's called, wasn't good for me. To be more detailed, my spouse and I are in marriage counseling. I made a joke after that post that my spouse isn't allowed to pour after our infant's friend if I die. My spouse is a no-nonsense, stoic, non-reactive, reliable person, and this highly offended them. The holidays made it hard, but we've had 3 sessions so far. Things I learned are my dad didn't spend time with me, I spent time with him. A child should learn to be independent, but that they can still rely on their parent, and that him dating my friend hurt me more than I realized. He never took an interest in my life, never took me to the movies unless he was already going, rarely ate out together because we had food at home, kept my hair short because maintenance was expensive, expensive, so when he started to pamper and invest in a woman the same age as me, it was everything I never ever got. So he could do it, he just didn't want to. I thought he was reliable because some kids had it worse, and that sucked. The counselor asked if we had a son, would my dad pay attention? I said no, spouse said yes. So I trusted my spouse on that one, and it sucks. But I do not trust my father at all, and he didn't call. Not for Thanksgiving, and not for Christmas. My other relatives called. My baby can't talk but babbles and squeals, and he didn't call to hear her. So he's blocked now, and I'm not going to give him the grace or courtesy to know it. I'm putting that energy and attention he doesn't deserve to my child. Wow, it really sounds like you're getting a bit more healthy with your mental state. That's really good for you and your partner. I'm really glad. That's a good update, OP. It's sad, but yeah, sometimes people do need to be cut out of our lives, even if it's a difficult thing to do. He just sounds like a really bad person. This post is by Nikki Nallis. Like any other decently polite human being, I did my best to remain polite despite my building manager constantly being rude. I suspected it was at least partially due to misogyny, because he spoke to women who he approached the desk by themselves the same way, but his tone was perfectly amicable, and he even laughed and joked when men or women who were accompanied by men approached. Perhaps he was taking out his own misery on those he felt were easy targets. Anyway, every time I approached to ask a question or fulfill whatever I needed to as instructed by the strata, he would be gruff and look like he was in a bad mood. Whatever, we all just want a paycheck, so I tried not to care. But I hated seeing him and avoided the common areas for years, which was ridiculous because I pay for these areas. He would make it so hard to actually get any help, and when I asked a question, he would cut me off and say things like, none of your business, or I don't know, or why would you ask me, etc. You can imagine how frustrating that is, because honestly, why would anyone want to talk to you unless we needed to? Once I ended up sending an email to the manager of the company in charge of him at his own request because he refused to listen to my issue and instead kept cutting me off saying, I don't know, I just do what Jane Doe tells me. If you have an issue, contact her. My issue was actually outlined in the strata rules, so it was actually his job to do. Jane Doe asked me for details on his refusal to help, but I wasn't sure, nor did I care if anything happened, except that I hoped that he would help me without making a fuss next time. Cue another unavoidable situation a few months later, and it was clear that if Jane Doe talked to him, it had no or minimal effect. I tried asking him about a fee that was posted on the notice that was sure applied to me. He asked me back rudely, why would I need to pay? So I tried to explain why I thought I needed to pay, kept cutting me off and not even trying to clear up my confusion, and I finally snapped and raised my voice back at him. And every time he tried to cut me off, I snapped back, telling him to just answer my question and do his job and to stop yelling, etc. He tried to talk over me and deny that he was yelling, but I continued snapping back and called out everything he was doing in real time. Whatever attitude he gave me, I gave back, and also made my distaste towards him very obvious. After that, he got real quiet. Still does not treat me with respect, visible by the difference in tone of emails he sent me versus the emails he sent to a male member of my family, but he's scared to outright disrespect me anymore, and I have a hunch that my visible distaste gave him a reality check, and he didn't feel big enough to bully me anymore. When I sighed at his weaponized incompetence in the follow-up, I had to get something from him, and it was unavoidable, but he never had it prepared, and seemed like I might get angry again. He immediately tried to assuage me, and scampered to solve the problem as quickly as I'd ever seen him help a lone woman. Wow, if that dude is as incompetent as you're claiming, OP, he needs to be fired. You need to send that to Jane Doe immediately. What? Why even let him keep his job? You had an opportunity. But yes, that was very satisfying. I'm glad you clapped back at him. Hopefully that was the reality check he needed, but in most cases, it's not always the case, is it? Unfortunately. This was r/traumatizethemback. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to go check out some other videos on the channel. If you agreed or disagreed with anything I said, let me know in the comments below, and lick the button with your tongue below so that you can get updates on my channel. And because 98% of people aren't subscribed to the channel, and I post new Reddit content every single day, just click it. Can't hurt. Click it. Please? Click it. Click it. Click it. Click it. Click it.